So the next step is a lot of text. I should have done a better job on this. The next step on the video exports is just best practices on how to export your video. Okay, so sometimes like you're working with a model that is too heavy, or your computer is not buffy enough, or something like that. So these are just like a little bit of best practice to make the whole video export, the presentation to show up like a little bit smoother, and the camera movements to work a little bit better. Okay, so the first thing that I mentioned that I'm showing over here is that whenever you click on the presentation for the first time on your session and you hit play from the beginning, this action, if you're playing this for the first time on that session in Monads, this first play will play a little bit slower because we are kind of like loading in these camera movements and all the information that is being displayed on your screen into your cache, right? So one thing that I suggest and is for you to play the whole presentation once without recording the video, right? So just hit play, let it play the presentation as a whole, and then it will kind of like load that presentation movement and all those things into your computer. And once you're done with that first pass, you can then go into the hit recording of your presentation video, right? Because now the movements and the milestone loadings will be a little bit faster. Okay, so this is important for you to get like a smoother transitions between one and the other. And also this is like a small one, click on the first slide before starting the recording to avoid clipping the video, right? So sometimes like I want to start recording my video and I'm looking at this milestone, but when I hit share, go to presentation video and hit next and whatnot, like this will have, there will be a camera movement from where I was to the first slide on my presentation. So this will, it's kind of like a little, kind of like part of the video that you're never going to use. So you could, before you start recording your video, I suggest that you start from the default slide, click on the default slide, the first slide, sorry, or on the cover slide if you have one, to apply that view to your screen, and then you start recording the video, right? So this is like a quick way for you to not have like a weird camera movement in the beginning that you don't control. Okay, so this is another one that like it's quite obvious because we explain about this a lot on the presentations, is also on the training sessions, is that even if you go through all of this and your camera movement is still a little bit choppy because of like the amount of information that is in your scenario, we suggest you record with slower speeds, and then you can speed it up with video editing tools, right? So basically what I'm talking about is going to the presentation videos, and in here you define a slower speed for you to record, and then the video would take a little bit longer to record, 4 times more longer, right? But the camera movements will be a little bit smoother because you're gonna take this video that is slower and you're gonna speed it up on another video editing software. As usual, I always suggest that you use Clipchamp because it's a free software from Microsoft that is very easy, and it takes the WebM format that comes out of cmBuilder natively. So it's a great tool for you to work with your videos, and has everything that you need to produce a nice output from cmBuilder. Okay. This one over here, use the best monitor available. And oh, sorry, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. So keep in mind that you might need to adjust the animation speeds of your vehicles and like whatever is moving using our visual graph. Whatever you created an animation for, you might need to adjust this speeds accordingly if you slow down the recording of the video. The reason why is because the visual graph is still like on beta stage, and whenever you slow down the video recording, it does not apply to the animations yet. So you should adjust that before you start recording the video. So you're gonna make the animations like last longer, the durations of the path and of the speed, the movement speed to be a little bit slower. Cool. Next one is to use the best monitor available and set it up with the best display resolution that you can have to record with a better quality. What does this mean? Is that if you have a 4K monitor, if you have an 8K monitor, if you have something that is quite nice in terms of like display quality for resolution, you should use that monitor to record instead of like a 1080p resolution monitor or like something or full HD or something like that, because we use the resolution of your screen to record the video, right? So if you have a better screen, the resolution will be better, right? So on top of that, you might need to go into your Windows controls to take that display and set it up with the highest resolution possible over here. And this might cause all the icons to go smaller. And if that happens, you can also adjust the zooming function over here on the layout, or you can adjust the zooming on the browser itself, right? Oh, so I'm going to need to refresh this. So you can adjust the zooming of the browser over here as well, if like the commands, well, what's going on? I think my WebGL thing, oh, I think I'm going to need to reopen this whole thing again. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, let's see if this is going to load this browser again. I need to close Chrome as a whole. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. So this is an issue that is an interesting one for us to talk about as well. So what just happened is that I changed the configuration of my site, of my screens and whatnot, the displays, and this affected how my graphics card is rendering the 3D environment on the browser. So this is something related to the graphics card relationship with the browser. So this might happen if you're changing too many graphic things at once. So always when that happens, you're going to see a little error message over here in the bottom saying WebGL lost connection with something. I don't know what's the text of that message. Just close the browser and open again, and you won't lose any of your work, right? Because everything is auto-saved. Next step on this is to enable full screen before you're hitting record, right? So just hit F11 to enable the full screen, because the reason why that we suggest that is that because when you recording the video, as you can see over here, it's recording only this area, right? The area below the blue. So there is a whole area over here on the top that are the commands on the browser that is being wasted. And it's good for you to like record the whole thing, because then like it will give you a better ratio of the video, and even the quality of the video will be better because the resolution is applied to the whole simulation. And this last one is just one quick way for us to manage the slide transitions and things like that. So get out of this. Basically, if you go in here and let me duplicate this scenario without the presentation to show what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead over here, duplicate this scenario, and I'm going to choose to not have the presentation on my duplicate. So I can start my duplicate from scratch. You can choose whatever you're duplicating if you want to bring in all the data, all the information from one scenario to the other, or if you want to keep just a few of them. But basically, if you go over here in the presentation markup, now everything is cleared, right? So this last tip over here is to keep the default slides with quicker slide durations to adjust the transition between the milestones. What do I mean by that? So if whenever you're applying the presentation, you're creating like a slide transition. If I go into the second slide over here and I capture a camera angle, the moment that I'm playing my presentation, the presentation plays on this order, right? So it starts from the top and goes all the way to the bottom. And the milestone tab over here that you see, consider that as an item of your presentation as well with 0 duration. So the milestone changes, like whatever is visible and invisible on your site, will be applied before the next slide starts playing, actually at the same time. So if there is a camera movement right in the beginning of your milestone, it means that the software needs to render the milestone changes and apply the camera angles at the same time. So this will cause, it takes a little bit of the performance. So like it might create like a quick jump or something like that. So for you to avoid that, we suggest that you keep the default slides, and instead of changing the default slides, you can simply go into the location that you want and add a new slide. So you will keep all the default slides as a buffer to have like the milestone changes apply, and then there is a camera movement, right? So if you're planning on doing that, and I suggest that you do that only if you notice that there is like jumps happening in between milestones. If you're planning on doing that, just go into any of these slides before you start creating your own, and then make the duration of that slide, of all the default slides, should be a little bit faster, so you won't spend too much time on that slide before going to the camera. Okay, I'm not sure if I explained that like very clearly, but I hope that you guys could understand this. Okay, awesome. So let me jump back into this. And these are quick best practice and tips for you to have a very smooth video export function. Okay.